Hi, everybody. Welcome to an edition that is likely to stir the pot a little. Nothing, but nothing gets my audience more whipped up than when I talk about driving. We write articles about it, we get comments. People are really tied to the idea of driving their own cars, come hell or high water, forever. We've done videos, we've done articles, we've talked about seniors' driving statistics. They're not always great. We've talked about health concerns. We wrote an article the other day about getting back to driving after a 2-year pandemic when most of us weren't driving very far for very long anyway, and we have to get back into the swing of it. One of my favorite quotes is from a fellow by the name of Wayne Dyer. You may know of him. It's this: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So today, we're going to change the way we look at driving our own cars. Okay? Let's look at it from the perspective of you taking control of your driving experience. Okay? I don't care who you are, at some point, all of us will age out of the experience of driving safely. Okay, now safe driving is not only about getting into a car and knowing how to keep it between the lines. It's range of motion, it's reaction time, it's thinking about all of the people driving around us. It's the cars on either side of that parking space that we are going to navigate into. It's pedestrians crossing the road. You know, one of the first things that challenges many of us is night driving. I know that I don't like driving at night anymore, particularly on rural roads with no streetlights. So I try to avoid that. There you go. I would like to think that given the work that I do, I will be able to self-assess when it's time for me to give up my driving license, park that car, and carry on. But driving isn't just about getting from A to B, is it? It's about control and independence and change. Change is a really hard thing for everybody. Nobody escapes that. But the control and independence piece, I've talked many times on this show about my fierce need to maintain my independence. You can look at it, at driving that is, as my need to keep on driving so that I maintain that independence. I'm going to flip that script for you today and talk about my need to maintain my independence by choosing myself when to give up driving so that I do it before something happens that gives that decision over to somebody else. I don't want to do that. That gives away my independence. I want to keep that independence and make the decision for myself. So here's what you do. We can start by having a thorough medical exam, top to bottom, inside and out. Talk with our healthcare professionals about any illnesses or diseases that we have that might impact our ability to drive safely down the road. They deal with this stuff all the time. If you've got a bad hip now and you need a hip replacement, what is that trajectory? If you have Parkinson's, what is that trajectory? You have to have this information. Write it down. Don't try to remember it. Take a notebook and a pen with you, or take someone else with you to be the scribe and write this information down. It's really important that you understand any concerns about your own health care. Next, go and get your eyes checked. You want to make sure that your prescription is up to date, and you want to have the optometrist have a look at anything that might be coming in the future. Glaucoma, macular degeneration, any of those things on the horizon, they're going to affect your ability to see properly and therefore to drive safely. Okay? Now, in your region, as in mine, there may be companies that do functional driving assessments. There's one in southwestern Ontario that I know of, or I should say southern Ontario. They cover the entire southern Ontario. It's called Drive Lab. Now, full disclosure, I do know the owner of this company, which is how I even know that it exists. There may be others that do the same thing. He is not sponsoring this show. He doesn't even know I'm talking about his company. So, full disclosure. All right. So their clients may have been in an accident. They may have lost their license and they may need to get it back. They may be looking at issues such as orthopedic, cognitive, or neurological conditions that need to be assessed against an ability to drive safely. There is a fee associated with it, but it varies according to what type of assessment is needed. Now, you get the point. There's an assessment done to see whether or not you can safely operate a motor vehicle. In most regions, there is a date, a birthday, at which point you will need to go back into your Ministry of Transportation and renew your license. In Ontario, that age is 80, and you have to do an education piece and a driving test. Now, I'm going to say something that is going to be very unpopular. The vast majority of us can suck it up for an hour and pass that test. There, don't throw darts. It's the truth. You know it's the truth. We are focused very intently on that driving test. That's not the same thing as hopping in your car to go get the groceries or to go visit somebody. We are not as focused doing that type of task as we are when we're actually testing for our license. All right? Okay. With your health checked, your eyes checked, and an independent functional driving assessment done, you can start making some decisions. Make a list of the places you like to go regularly. Even if regularly is once a month or once a quarter, write it down. So that could be groceries, the pharmacy, visiting friends, doing other social activities, going to church, doing your volunteer activities, visiting family. It can be anything. Write it all down. Then start thinking about alternate ways to get there besides using your car. It could be public transit. Do you live close to public transit? If not, is moving someplace closer to public transit an option? Now, don't discount that option. You know, for those of us who live buried deep in suburbs, a transit stop could be quite a ways away. Most people will walk about 1,500 steps before they'll decide to get in a car to drive themselves to wherever they're going. 1,500 steps is a lot if you have sore knees, arthritic hips, or a mobility device. So think about your personal circumstances, not just now, but a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. You want to make decisions while you can make the decision. And maybe that is a compromise that you need to make to maintain your independence. All right? Transit. Taxis. Are there taxis? What's the cost of them versus the cost of maintaining your car? Some places don't have taxi companies, others do. Is there a Wheel-Trans service? If you use a mobility device, you may have access to a Wheel-Trans service. That will run on a schedule, so like transit, but less frequently, there will be a schedule involved. Once you understand the options that are out there, and don't make the mistake of deciding that your adult children are the option. All right, I'm going to interject that. That's also going to be very unpopular. Your adult children have lives. They have jobs, they have children of their own, they have social activities, volunteer jobs that they like to do. There are only so many minutes in an hour. And if they are chauffeuring you around, that means there is something they are having to give up in their own lives. Now, I know some kids will say, "Oh, it's okay. I'll just take you to the grocery store. Don't worry about it. I'm going there anyway." Taking you to the grocery store has a way of turning into, "Let's get all those groceries in your house. Oh, let me help you unpack them. Let me help you repackage the meat and wash all your vegetables. And hey, while you're here, would you mind doing this and this?" Before you know it, hours of their day could be gone. For me, I want to respect the lives that my children have, and I want to maintain my independence. Giving my independence over to my adult children is not maintaining my independence, it's giving away my independence. I want to come and go as I please. So, don't make that mistake. All right. Once you've got your list of places you like to go and alternative methods of getting there, start using these alternative methods of getting there now and then. Hop on a bus or a subway. Take a taxi. Walk. Do whatever it is that you believe is a good alternative. Get used to the process, get used to the schedules and the cost involved, the timing. Get used to all of that. See what it feels like. And no, it's never going to feel the same way as getting into your own car whenever you please and merrily taking yourself to wherever it is you want to go. But remember, at some point, you can't do that anymore. You want to make this decision independently while you can, before something happens that means someone else is going to decide for you how you're going to get around and what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. That is so important for me. Maintaining that feeling of independence and the knowledge that I can do whatever I want whenever I want to, even though it might mean compromises. The compromise is better than losing my independence. You have to decide for yourself whether the compromises are worth it. But with all of that in hand, with a new experience possible for you to get yourself around to wherever you're going, then you can start thinking about weaning yourself off of your car when you want to give up your license, when you want to get rid of the expense of that car. Yes, there's insurance, the price of gas these days, the maintenance of the car. Do you really want to do all of that? At some point you want to do other stuff. So, these are things you really need to give serious consideration to if your independence is important enough to you to want to do that. Give it some thought. Next week, I will see you on Wednesday. And until then, be good to those around you. Be kind to yourself. Take care. Bye, everybody.